So excited once again. I say once again because Tony Hawk has been here many times. I feel like I talk to you at least once or twice a year. But Vert Alert is the event going on over at now the Delta Center over the next couple of nights. Your third year, I believe, in Utah.
It is, yep.
Tony, I got so many questions for you, but here's the exciting thing, folks. This, you talk about big time, this event is now a qualifier for the X Games.
Yep.
What does that mean to you? How cool is that? How'd you get that set up? And tell us about that.
Well, I've been working with X Games through
Forever,
the years, obviously, yeah, and I've been trying to advocate for them to highlight the Vert event more, because that's kind of been pushed aside in recent years, and there was no women's Vert for the last 10 years. And so we were doing this event, and I've been working closely with the upcoming X Games in July, and then they actually floated the idea.
Really?
Yeah, they said, hey, what if it was a qualifier? We said, yeah, maybe the top three or something, like know everyone.
Wow.
That's
phenomenal.
so we feel it's very validating for
Yeah.
our efforts, and we're just thankful to have the support of everyone here in Utah, the Utah Sports Commission, and now Delta Center and Ryan Smith. It's been really, really good partnership.
You have a long history in Utah. We talk about this all the time, going way back when you popped in when you were younger, I believe. Does that mean even more to you that this is in Utah and is a qualifier as well?
I think and it justifies us trying to do this from the beginning, because this happened a few years ago, us trying to get this event started, and it all felt very experimental. We were at the arena before, outside, and but we were thankful to have that space. And now I feel like we're stepping it up each year. Now we're in the Delta Center, and I would love to keep doing it here. I would love to keep doing it, well, hopefully do other events in other cities as well. Mm-hmm. But for now, we're very happy with where it's landed.
Do you like indoor? No pun intended on where it's landed. Versus outdoor?
Yeah, I like it just because the elements. There are issues with weather. Obviously, we can't skate in the rain, but even just dust and where the sun sets can be very challenging when you're going up. You imagine you're going up a wall, you're heading to a vertical plane, and all of a sudden you're blasted by a spotlight. That gets really tricky.
So you're actually going to be on your board Friday night.
I am.
Tell me about that and how. I mean, but you've competed not even that long ago. I mean, you still like to get out there and do it. I interviewed you a couple years ago. You had a cast on, but
I know. I was. So I had a pretty bad injury last year. I broke my femur in March and had a false start at a recovery. So when I was here last time, was actually still my bone was still disconnected, and I thought that I could push through that. I did, but it was not pretty. And now I'm back to a normal recovery. I have my bone reset, and I just feel so lucky that I have had the support, and that I live in this era of modern medicine, that I was able to get this fixed and get back to a level of skating that I feel is justifying being a pro. So that's what I'm here. I'm celebrating that. I did compete in the X Games in Tokyo.
That's right.
In May, and that was my first sort of public outing. So this will be my second one.
But you know what fans love? I mean, they followed you for many, many years. They love to see you not just when you were at the Olympics. You were commentating. They want to see you out there competing. What are you going to show them on Friday night?
Well, I'm hoping to kind of play the hits.
There you go.
Some of my signature moves, and I'm just, like I said, I'm just really excited to finally be back at a level of skating that I feel good about, and that I feel like justifies being out in public, being labeled as a professional. And so, I guess the kind of usual fare that you expect from me. I'll be there doing it on the vert ramp again.
You've invented so many moves. By the way, who names those? Do you name them?
Well, I mean, the unspoken rule is if you do it first, you get to
name it.
Yeah.
So there's one I remember, the Saran wrap. I like the name of that one.
Yes, I'll take the blame or credit for that. Yes.
Well, okay, let me ask you this, and I don't know if anyone's ever asked you, what's your favorite name for a move you've invented? That's first, and second, what's your favorite move that you've invented?
I think one of my favorite names is Body Jar. It's not my trick, but it's such a fitting name for what happens on the trick, because it is an aerial move, but you actually kind of hit the top of the ramp with the back of your board, and it jars your body completely. And the higher you go, the more it jars. So I like that one just because it's very factual.
And the favorite move that you
Oh, wow.
invented? That's tough, isn't it? It's like
You mean just in terms of names?
No, just the move itself.
Ollie 540.
That's the
which
one.
is
yeah.
a no-handed 540 spin. Because when I first tried it, I truly thought it was a joke. Like I did it as a complete joke.
Really?
Like, what if I did this someday? Or what if someone tried this? And then at some point I figured out how to use the takeoff to my advantage to keep my feet in place, and then keep it on all the way through.
So
and you'll see people do it. You'll see
Yeah.
people do it in the Vert Alert,
Right.
which I'm hugely proud of. I mean, I invented it in 1990.
and they're still doing it.
Yeah, they still think it's relevant.
Yeah.
So, hooray!
Well,
I'm not doing it.
But Tony, some of it's got to be, in a way, for them, today's younger riders, to pay homage to you. And I know you probably, being a humble guy, don't want to talk about that. But there's got to be some reality in that. Oh, look, I'm going to rip off a couple of Tony's moves.
Oh,
and
but
show 'em
but
what I
that's
can
the
do.
ultimate. That's the ultimate honor to
Yeah.
me. I mean, the idea that you created something and people are still interested or still think that it is valid or relevant or difficult. I mean, that's the ultimate, because we've come a long way with skating and the evolution of skating, that tricks that were invented 40 years ago, some are just gone because they are maybe considered too easy or too
Right.
cheesy. And to have tricks that endure, I mean, I guess as much as I love being an advocate for skateboarding and an ambassador for skateboarding, I'm way more proud of my legacy of skateboard tricks.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I wonder how far it could go. We had the 1080 a couple of years ago, I think. Or not
And
even that long ago.
1260, yeah.
Where does this? I mean, is there a limit?
Those are very specific aerial moves that are spinning moves. So if you were to go outside and see some kid skating on the street and ask, can you do a 900 or they wouldn't care at all because that's not their style of skating. So, but that being said, I mean, we went from 720 in 1985 to 900 in 1999, 1080 in 2005-ish, 2006, and then 1260 just a few years ago. So if you're talking about the progression, that's a long time for half a turn.
Yeah, well, we'll just see how much the human body could withstand. Vert Alert.
Other human bodies, not mine.
Okay, but you're still out there. I've still seen you wear the knee pads. What can the fans expect, just in terms of the spectacle of the show? This isn't your old 30-year-old just guys hopping around in a half pipe. You really put it on.
Yeah, it's the best of vertical skateboarding. Much more aerial-driven moves, very technical. When you see skateboarding in the Olympics, especially in the park event, you get a taste of what vert is, but that's sort of a smaller version of what we're doing out there because you get much more airtime. The tricks are much more technical. And I appreciate that park skating is its own discipline and that it's more accessible because there are more skate parks. But when you go to see a vert event live, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It's a high-flying action.
Yeah.
And it's immediate just speed and aggression and so many. I was actually jumped into the women's practice today.
Really?
The women are amazing.
Amazing. I saw them when I was over there earlier for the draft party.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I got to ask you about the video game because you literally every year establish a whole new group of fans through your video game. You must get, I mean, how much do you get questioned and asked and people commenting on you because of your video game versus, your history of skateboarding?
I can't, I don't think I can quantify that. I mean, the video game was a massive success and changed my life completely, changed my recognition factor, gave me all kinds of opportunities way outside of skateboarding. But I'm hugely proud of it because I think that it represented skateboarding authentically in terms of the culture, the styles, the music, the skating itself. And it did get a new generation of kids interested in skating and trying to start skating. So I'm really proud of what the sort of, as much as it was fun to play, I'm proud of all the auxiliary aspects of it too.
Well, I'll tell you what, the way they make video games nowadays, it's unbelievably
Yeah, I mean, I
realistic.
hope we get to do more.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Tony, it's great to have you. Vert Alert Friday and Saturday. We have you here every year. I'm really excited for you and your program that it's now a qualifier for the X Games. And
Me too. Thank you.
be real careful on Friday night when you're up there.
I will. We can't. I will take that into consideration.
Okay, thanks.
Thank
Tony Hawk, he's here for the Vert Alert. Always good to visit with you. Thanks so much, my man. I appreciate
Thank you.
it.